Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome once again to the Brotherhood of Wrestling podcast. I am your host with the most, Kareem, aka K the Creator, for those of you who know me by my personal YouTube. And of course, alongside me are the usual suspects. Give it up for Kukai, all the way in Oregon, originally from Alaska. Give it up. Give it up for the St. Louis, Missouri native, Randy Orton. I'm sorry, Trevor. So sorry. Wrong person. Same state. Two different people. Also, all the way from the second city, which apparently CM Punk isn't even from. Not even from Chicago. But give it up for Mello and Chase.
CM Punk isn't from Chicago?
He's not even
when that
from
happened.
Chicago. He's not even. He claims Chicago. He's really like upstate, the white folks basically. He ain't from the mud. He ain't from the south side. He ain't from the west side.
I've heard.
He claims it. I found this out on the internet. I was just like, he ain't even like from Chicago.
My whole life's been a lie.
Dude.
And this is,
I feel some kind of way.
And this is just a slew of at least when people, talk about Chris Jericho never fails to put over Winnipeg.
Winnipeg sucks. No, I'm kidding.
But we'll get into CM Punk later.
Oh Lord.
Because as you all know, and we're not going to get too much in this because this is really supposed to be a celebration episode of 10 successful episodes of the podcast.
Yes.
But before we even get into that celebration, it was announced this week that CM Punk's contract is being bought out.
Oh,
They do it better than me. I would be Memphis strong on that one and wouldn't pay the man a dime. After the way he treated me, ain't no way.
So we can tentatively say Punk's run in AEW more than likely is coming to a screeching halt. And it is a shame because we were robbed of CM Punk versus MJF for the strap. We were also robbed of CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. We were also robbed of a run back of Samoa Joe versus CM Punk, and also with Daniel Bryan. I mean, Chase would disagree because he doesn't like any of these guys anyway, and he's old. But the fact remains is that these matches will no longer be happening. However, the rumor mill is saying that Triple H is possibly thinking of bringing Punk back to the E.
To do what?
That is, let me tell you how this
I say rumor mill, and this is why, before you get into why this is a bad idea, because I absolutely agree with you for once. I'm saying that because even though CM Punk, kind of screwed the pooch in AEW, his name, as old as he is, as injury prone as he is, his name is still a draw, and bringing him back in the WWE would be money, although he'd be basically useless. Again, this is a rumor.
I don't see him getting the same pop that he got in AEW that he in WWE. I don't see that happening. And
no, because they probably, honestly, I would want the fans to call him a sellout.
Yes, I would want him to be the major heel that he needs to be coming into the WWE.
Because he's certainly a real life heel now.
Right.
Yeah.
Although I will go on public record saying, and I've always said this, he is not the only one at fault. He messed it up for himself and what he did, but it is not just on him. It is on Tony for letting the inmates run the asylum. It is on the EVPs, the Bucks and Kenny Omega, for even dropping all of this. The only person that is not at fault is Colt Cabana, because he was always minding his business. Everybody else, the Bucks, Ace Steel, who was released, Omega, Tony, and Punk, they're all at fault.
I really want to check your forehead to make sure you're not sick, because for once, you are actually a point. So I want to make sure you're not sick, man.
No, I'm keeping it as a matter of fact. I know we have varying opinions, but looking at that whole situation, it is absolutely all parties involved.
Yeah,
I agree. I definitely agree.
If I was Colt
I'm
Cabana,
more-
it would have to be on site.
Huh?
Yeah.
I said if I was Colt Cabana, it would have to be on site or in the
That ass.
Truth.
That ass.
Truth.
Now, let's get just to give us a brief, give me a brief rundown of what exactly sparked this whole thing going on with
We
CM.
talked about it. You're gonna have to watch the previous episodes. We talked about everything that went down, but for those of you who are just, I guess, guests
Casual.
now tuning in to this show, basically what had happened was, and was stemming from a bunch of stuff way back. It started with, and you know what? Hangman Adam, Godspeed, may he recover, from his injury with his concussion, but he is also to blame for the events that happened as well. This is what happens when wrestlers go into business for themselves.
Wow.
Yes, all parties are to blame. Add Hangman Page to that, because Hangman started shooting on Punk. Hangman shooting on Punk for things he didn't know about. The Bucks basically dropped something in the rumor mill between Punk and Colt Cabana, which is private. Punk aired everything out at a media scrum. Tony did nothing to stop that man. He just sat there and let this man dish on your wrestlers, your EVPs.
But I'm more me personally, always within the situation ever since this has happened. I've always been more so on CM Punk's side. Why? The way he handled the situation, of course.
Yeah,
it's
we're
terrible.
all in agreement of that.
But
Punk had a right to be upset.
He had a he had a right to be upset for the simple fact none of this was really started because of him. He was drugged into this, and them same EVPs were the ones that was spilling out rumors that weren't true. So, like, in my opinion, CM Punk, he do deserve another chance, just in a way that somehow drama always finds him. So it's like I want some sort of drama-free environment for him, so we can really get the matches and everything that the fans deserve. That's really where I'm at with this.
The problem with that statement is, even though Punk was right, and this is why I said all parties messed up, Punk had every right to be upset. But as mad as you are you going to handle it backstage like a professional, or are you going to spill you're going to spill the guts of what's going on in your entire company to the public?
Right.
They have barely recovered. And props to MJF, because MJF, first and foremost, he is a Jew before he is a wrestler. He is a man about the money. He sees AEW is in shambles. What does he do? Makes an offer Tony absolutely cannot refuse.
Cannot refuse.
Single-handedly saving AEW, him and John Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not say they're saved yet. They're not quite.
Wait, I'm not. You know what? Saved is a very loose word.
Not quite saved.
Keeping them afloat. Because remember, we still don't know if MJF is going to stay with the company in 2024. And how Triple H is running things, Triple H would probably give MJF that freedom.
Yep.
I've also heard about Chris Jericho. That's another one that I've heard. End of 2024, when his contract is over, Triple H could pursue him.
No, he's getting too old. He can't run anymore.
I mean, yeah, but he'd probably be recruited for something backstage.
True. I can see that.
And
To
you
help
know he's
develop
going.
talent.
You know Jericho is going in the Hall of Fame. It's a
Oh.
guarantee. It's a given. It's a given.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah,
Impact Hall. Yeah. Keep going.
Jericho is going to go back to where the money really is, and you know he's going to be just touring with Fozzy at one moment, helping WWE backstage another moment.
True. Makes sense. It's better than him being ROH champion right now.
If Tony, and this is Tony's problem, then we're going to get off because we're supposed to be celebrating 10 episodes. We already went into the fall of CM Punk. If bro learn how to handle his stuff professionally, like you have to separate, and this is why I love Cody Rhodes. And the moment I saw Cody Rhodes leaving, I was just like, why would, because this is what struck me. Why would Cody Rhodes leave a company that he helped build?
Mm-hmm.
Why would he leave?
Now we see it.
Something was going on to where he was like, and Cody made sacrifices. Cody could have easily pushed his weight around and became AEW champion.
Yep.
He didn't do that. All he wanted was to get more pay and more time. That and the fans were crap. The fans are also a reason. The AEW fans are also a reason Cody Rhodes left, because now look, he's being cheered in WWE.
Yep.
And y'all could have been cheering him there.
Yep.
Y'all messed up with that one. But Cody wanted to get paid. That's all he wanted. More money was going to the Bucks, Omega. And here's another thing. Why would you, Tony Khan, make your active wrestlers EVPs?
Because you don't know what you're doing and you just want to be a booker.
That's it. That's really all
He doesn't
Tony.
know the business.
He is a poor man's booker. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
He is a poor
He wants to
man's
book wrestling.
and the sad part is he sucks at even that. So it's like
a lot of wrestlers have had to and I hate that I mentioned this earlier why you shouldn't, but a lot of wrestlers had to rely on doing their own thing to get themselves over. MJF.
Yep.
Moxley.
Yep. Jericho.
Now let's hit rewind on this timeline and go back down to when I told you all that this company was going to die a WCW death. And you all looked at me as if I was the black sheep. You all said,
at the time.
AEW.
At the time.
You was wrong.
You're getting muted.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Chase, you was wrong. At that time, you were.
We thought way back then, we thought it was something fresh. It was something new. And it seemed like things were going well. Up till this year. There were no problems going on up till this year.
Well,
so we had a valid reason to believe that the product was going well. It wasn't until after Cody left and everything with CM Punk that we changed our minds. So your whole argument is invalid, because if none of this happened, you wouldn't have
what?
Yeah, hold on. Kareem. There was two people who were saying that AEW was trash. Chase and Jim Cornette.
I almost cussed. Through Jim Cornette.
My man, Jimmy. My man,
we're talking about the same man who had a problem with Becky being pregnant. Screw that man's opinion. Screw that man's opinion. So one person, not two. Jim Cornette's opinions can shove it for all I care.
He gets more. Hold on. He gets better numbers than AEW on
That's
YouTube.
because people like controversy. People like controversy.
Racist conservative.
Thank you, Chase. We don't, as a matter of fact, the next person that mentions Jim Cornette ever on this podcast, insta-mute. You don't get to say anything for the rest of the show. For the rest of the show. Don't you mention that man here. Don't mention him. Don't mention Meltzer. Don't mention no dirt sheets. Because that's another thing we're going to talk about on this show.
I hate him.
The highs and lows of wrestling journalism. Because there's problems with all of it.
I ain't gonna lie. Me personally, I hate the dirt sheets. I don't like it. I hate spoilers. Spoilers is like my biggest pet peeve. So I can't wait to get into that one.
There's no real genuine surprises anymore.
I agree.
There aren't. Journalism has ruined that. And journalism is how you looked at certain wrestlers.
Well, we didn't pop for Bray Wyatt coming back. We didn't pop for MJF coming back.
Yes, but imagine if we didn't know.
Did you know?
Yes.
It was talked about with Bray Wyatt.
I mean, we
knew with Bray Wyatt.
We did know.
We knew.
We knew.
Versus not knowing at all.
Time. With MJF, we also knew it was a matter of time.
Hell, with CM Punk, we knew.
With Punk, we knew. The only one I will argue that we possibly did not know, we thought, but we didn't know for certain, was Edge. And that was all the way in 2019.
Okay, but the pops still occurred.
2020, my fault.
Granted,
the pop still happened. The pop
to me, the best
pop because we wanted it to happen. But imagine if it was a surprise.
The cleanest surprise so far, like since 2020, to me, is Money in the Bank with John Cena. Nobody knew he was coming back. Nobody knew that.
That was a surprise too.
That was a surprise.
Even though we knew he was losing to Roman, he was a surprise. Nobody knew. Shoot, we didn't even know Edge was even cleared to wrestle.
That's true. We did not.
So
we did it.
I like that, but I mean,
the pop still
with
happened.
The death, hold on, but with the death of kayfabe and the need for wrestlers to promote themselves, it is either social media is going to be the vehicle by which these spoilers occur, or the dirt sheets. The dirt sheets gives wrestlers more control over their character than social media does. We saw that because we just saw that with Velveteen Dream. He lost total control. He couldn't manage anything.
That's because he tried to stay in character. That's his whole fault.
But with the dirt sheets, my character isn't on the line. They can be leaked stuff without me having to break kayfabe.
We can guy.
Huh?
We can on this one, man.
All right, I can hear that.
Dirt sheets can definitely make or break you as well. You don't have 100% autonomy. The only person I would say does, or at least has done a good job at it, is MJF currently.
Well, I mean, okay, granted, and he is doing a good job, just like Velveteen Dream did, of blurring the line between his character and who he is. He's doing a good Andy Kaufman. We can't tell. And because we can't tell, like the promo he did this week with William Regal, it was so plausible. We're like, they're having a real moment. They're having a real moment.
Sense because there was a time where he was at NXT. He was one of Samoa Joe's security guards.
Right.
Oh, there was truth to that promo.
Yes. So much truth per wrestling and what pro wrestling is. Again, we couldn't tell where it was script or where it was work. And when William Regal turned his back and MJF put on the ring and would not punch him out of respect for that man's neck.
Hell with that.
Out of respect for that man wrestled for almost 20 years with like 3 broken discs or something in his neck. After that respect, I went through the roof for MJF. After that, I was jumping. I literally stood up watching it and started clapping.
It was a cold promo, man.
Should have broke his damn neck.
And it was beautiful because William Regal sold it. William Regal helped sell it. And everything that William Regal said was true because it's in his book. I was 16 years old. I was at the carnival. This is where wrestling comes from. I was at the root. And I got my butt handed to me, which is why he was so tough to wrestle for 20 years with a broken neck.
And he's not a goat.
And he schooled Goldberg.
Yep.
That was the first, wasn't that the first long match Goldberg had?
Yep.
Was William Regal?
Yep.
So, I mean, the respect level.
I mean, Goldberg is trash anyway, but I get what you're saying.
I hear you, dude. You do
Too
being
bad
trash.
Regal's not a goat. But
remember, everybody had squash matches against Goldberg, if we're being honest.
Correct.
Yeah.
Granted, but it was a long one. It was the first long one.
Yep.
True.
But yeah, wrestling journalism has its highs and lows. Highs being you can get excited because there's rumors going on, but at the same time, it ruins the surprise. And it also can ruin a wrestler's life. Especially if you're with the court of public opinion, i.e. Velveteen Dream. And it's not just WWE.
And Meltzer has been trashed for like 3 decades.
I mean, Meltzer is an AEW jock rider, so, and that's the cleanest. That's the clean. I'm trying not to cuss.
I hear you.
I'm trying my best.
But he's been trashed for a while.
Thank you.
The first time I learned about him was when Bret Hart started spilling the beans on Vince, and that's when it was like, I'm looking at Meltzer's been this big for how long? Why is this man? This man is working us. That's what I kept thinking. I thought he was a pro wrestler because he's like Larry Merchant. He's the only person I know who's never been in the ring, but he can commentate on this and make a whole career about wrestling who's never been in the ring. He's never been a commentator.
Giving out 5 stars, giving out 5-star, 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 5-star to all the New Japan wrestling, all the New Japan wrestling matches. But we'll give a WWE. We'll give a really good WWE match like a 3 out of 5.
WWE.
Let's call him what he is. He's a culture vulture.
Oh,
I
mean, that's pretty loose. I mean, wrestling culture, it's kind of multicultural. It's kind of multicultural.
True.
I mean, I think
so. Culture vulture isn't the word.
That's not the word.
Definitely an AEW D writer. That's as close as I'm getting to it.
True.
I say this: a lot of WWE old heads, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, even Chris Jericho, people in that way, they don't really respect Dave Meltzer. They really don't.
No one.
The newer school kind of do. The newer school want that 5-star approval. The older, they don't really care. They really don't even. His word is nothing to him. So it's all about how you take him. Because like even when I be on his page and everything on the Dirt Sheet pages, and it could be the smallest surprise. Mike Kanellis and his wife come back to AEW, and right there he's letting you know, oh, they're coming back before they even come back. And I'm just sitting there like, why do that to them? Why not let the surprise, like the fans that they do have, we know they're not big wrestlers, big superstars, but the fans that they do have, let them be surprised that they're there. Let the fans from TNA be like, oh my God, they're at AEW now. Let there be a story. Why kill that story with your spoilers? That's what gets to me.
I'm in agreement with you. My biggest problem is back in the day, supposedly the sheets were supposed to work with creating the kayfabe.
Right. But now they expose the kayfabe. It's like you're throwing it under the bus.
Right. So, but without kayfabe, the sheets don't mean anything. You got to have kayfabe for the sheets to mean something. Because we weren't able to get information anywhere else. And so you kept all these rumors, but it was back in the day, you actually heard directly from somebody.
Exactly.
Brian Pillman or somebody would say something. They would leak it. It would be valuable. I was at the show. They would tell you where they got it or how they got it. Nowadays, it's internet, Twitter. That's the problem. Social media can put out information faster than the dirt sheets can disseminate.
But here's the thing, though. Here's how you can make it work. Social media is still full of misinformation. Social media is still full of false information that you can find in articles. Why not use kayfabe? Shut up, Trevor. Because of false information being disseminated on the internet, you can play into that. Have wrestlers give out false rumors.
Okay, I'm in agreement with you. I would also want the dirt sheets to start shaping some of the podcast because it kind of hurt me. And I thought that Sasha Banks was starting to exit out or having big problems when she's on Broken Skull on the WWE platform, breaking kayfabe left and right, breaking her character left and right. When she had that conversation with Stone Cold, I'm like, why are you here? To me, you should be near the end of your career or you are changing characters or setting something up, but it should contribute to you being able to make more money, not depress the overall cash flow of everybody, which is like what the media scrum did.
Because kayfabe is quote unquote dead. It's what happened on the Broken Skull session. Look what happened with the Undertaker's character. We didn't get Undertaker, we got Mark Calloway.
Right.
But that wasn't until the end. We didn't get that to the end of his career.
That part, I agree with that part. The problem is that
yes and no. Think about the American Badass and Big Evil. They weren't the Phenom Taker. That was Mark under the Undertaker name. So he bought it back. He didn't.
Keep in mind, he was going through. I'm talking about before he went on that hiatus. Before he came back as the Badass, he actually was Mark Calloway then. I don't know if you recall the previous show before he took that hiatus.
Yeah.
He started rocking sunglasses.
Yep.
Jeans.
Yep.
And he was more verbal.
Yep. I remember. Because that's when he decided to change it.
Right. But that was also when he went face and Stone Cold went heel.
Yeah. But he also became Big Evil as well, remember? So he was heel.
But I mean, Kane was face with them, though. There was the Brothers of Destruction against the Alliance.
And that's why I feel like it's very important. It's very important to have trusted people working for your company. Because I don't think it's necessarily the person with the gimmick, Sasha Banks, or any one of their faults. It's someone around them. It's someone that's in their center or not even in their circle. It's just working around their circle. That's why I commend Triple H when he came in. Yes, get rid of people that you really don't have a relationship with and bring in trustworthy people. That way you know certain things will be held. Some things won't get out to the dirt sheets or anything like that. You can trust people around you. And I feel like that's what Tony Khan is dealing with right now. He's dealing with that right there.
Speaking of the dirt sheets, this is on the rumor mill as well. Remember, I'm glad someone mentioned Sasha Banks because apparently her and Naomi were backstage. In fact, there's a picture going around. Naomi was sitting on her husband's lap. They were backstage at a show, and apparently Sasha Banks is training again. So more than likely, this is a rumor now, not confirmed. More than likely, Rumble. More than likely.
Something's needed to keep the women's division going.
I'm with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm with it.
I'm with it. I'm for it. I would love to see Naomi be that final piece in the bloodline.
You're not getting it.
Chase and your pipe dreams.
They are never going to keep the women's division and the men's division separate. You know they're not going to put it together.
Okay, hold on. But I now want to hear this. Please humor me, Chase. Why do you imagine that Naomi needs to be a part of the bloodline?
Let me make it make sense.
Please.
Naomi always had the goody two-shoe good girl face. You know what I'm saying? Persona. And I'm with that. This also serves as a great purpose because we need Roman to be champion all the way until WrestleMania, right?
No, we don't need anything, but we can have him that way. But keep going.
If we're gonna have, I'm just throwing this out there. If we're gonna have a Bray versus Roman, we need to have him as champion. So I'm saying Rumble would be perfect for her to come in if he's gonna defend the title against somebody. I say Braun Strowman, and have her come out of nowhere with a low blow. You know what I'm saying? And her join her join her husband alongside the bloodline.
Here is
I
the
do
problem
believe
with
she
all
needs to
of
be
it.
a part of that, the bloodline. I'm with that idea as well.
Here is the problem with that, gentlemen. Much like Dominic Mysterio, unfortunately, Naomi sucks as a heel. They tried it before. It did not work.
Dominic needs a more narcissistic personality.
He does. He also needs to be put in a telenovela. Finally, I need them to move out with that. You got Legado del Fantasma already there. You got them there. All right, come on now. They're doing
the telenovela.
We all know Ray's about to get bodied by Gunther. Come on now. He's about to get hurt worse than he did with the Great Khali.
His chest is gonna look like ground beef.
His chest gonna be squirting out blood just like his head did.
Yep.
That man about to die. I'm like, you couldn't deal with your son. So you leave your son in the hands of bad examples. You go to SmackDown only to have your behind handed to you.
So when do we get
Gunther? Son,
when do we get
horrible decisions right now?
when do we get Dominic versus Ray? Survivor Series or Mania?
Mania.
Yeah, WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that would be dope.
Dom needs to go over so Rey Mysterio can finally retire in peace. Please.
Correct. That's why he went to SmackDown. So he can set something like that up.
So with them hugging at the end, him embracing and them raising him raising his son's hand.
And be like, I understand. You went through, but you're a man now. You're a man now, Dom. Oh, and then have Legado tell me, what is this? This is how you treat Lucha Libre?
You need
We send you out here to dispose of your son, and you're embracing him after everything he's done?
Yeah. We need Dominic to
Legado, remove Rey Mysterio's mask again.
Nah, we seen it.
I mean, yeah. Lord, I missed that whole era of him being like a whole
Dominic
boy. I missed that whole thing.
You did?
I see he was very popular though.
Oh my God, bro.
I missed that whole era. I was just like, there was a period Rey Mysterio wrestled with his mask off.
Bro, he was like
I'm sure the ladies loved that.
What?
I'm sure they loved that.
He was like a little boy.
He was the poster child for FUBU. like literally. Like, and No Limit Records, because that's when Master P brought in a few of his.
So fun. I was just like, look at this man. Look at this man. He's just so proud not to have his mask on anymore. He feels free.
Hey, man, he feels
liberated. Kevin Nash was just like, I just put this boy over, taking over his man. Look at him. Look at him. He's more handsome than me. Should have kept the mask on.
Right. That's when they formed the Filthy Animals, which was a B-rated group. I really hated that group.
Hey, whether you hated it or not, that boy Ray. Boy, it's a good thing. Boy, it was a good thing I wasn't born back then.
Bro, get the fuck out.
Gone. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, returning to the show, unannounced, we have the great Kenny 9. See this? This is what happens when dirt sheets don't know. We didn't know Kenny was returning tonight.
Oh, wow.
And he's here. We're excited. If we had a live audience, everybody would be popping for the man right now.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it.
We hadn't had Kenny in what, 2 weeks? 2 shows?
Kenny.
Yeah, I've been going through hell. That's the only way I can put it.
Hey, well, we're glad to have you back, bro.
We need you to add a sound effect to the show when he comes in. Kenny.
Look, someone wants to buy me a soundboard. I set all that up. I ain't got the budget. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. We have already discussed a myriad of topics. Crown Jewel is not one of them. That'll wait until next week. That card looks questionable at best, by the way. But that's a whole other topic. First of all, how are you, Kenan?
Well, I'm doing a lot better I finally made peace with my father's passing.
Mm.
Now, the irony of having my father-in-law in the hospital the same weekend as my father's funeral, that was a shock to my system.
Mm.
Been going back to work piece by piece. I've been, enjoying time with my family, my wife, and like I just took my wife to Cracker Barrel for the very first time in her life.
My wife tells me Cracker Barrel is nice. One of these days we're gonna go.
You've never been?
I've never been. She tells me it's good though.
It is. If you like Southern home style type cooking, that's where you go.
Say less.
My recommendation to you, country fried steak. Don't miss out on that one.
Say less. I don't eat meat often, but I'll do that.
But by the way, I haven't been wrestling as of late. I mean, the last time I wrestled was the day after my father's funeral. That was the last time I wrestled.
Damn.
And I teamed up with Don't Die Miles and La Muñeca, or Leslie the Doll.
Yeah.
And it was a nice match, a nice intergender handicap that turned into a 6-person tag, but it was fun. I had fun with that.
That's good. That's the wrestling therapy. That's what you needed.
And now I'm getting ready to come back to practice full time starting tomorrow.
That's good. Also, Kenny, and I mean this with a little to no offense, I really think you should just shave your head bald.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually did shave my head bald for a minute.
Yeah. Go for it, man. And
Come to the dark side. Come to the dark side, beloved.
Go for
The light. This is the light.
Y'all two right there, boy. Y'all know.
Terrible.
What are you talking about? Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, 2 biggest stars of our lifetime. Don't
You
twerk
can
me.
even
Yeah, but also Big Show and Goldberg.
Okay.
Mark Henry.
John Moxley in the way, right?
Oh, wait. Hey,
Triple H.
Kukai, you want to talk about bald people? I mean, think about it. The Rock is bald too. Would you like?
Why are you trying me? I already got to deal with this weekend. Okay.
Come to the light.
Oh my God.
Watch. He's gonna have a wig. He's gonna have a wig next show.
Everyone.
Got him, baby.
Also,
I'm already dealing with
Always
this
be
weekend,
prepared
man.
for me to shoot because I don't miss.
That's true. That's true.
I never.
But Rocky Maivia did a
Mello.
good job this week. He did a good job this weekend.
He did a good job.
He did his job.
This is not sponsored, but you all should go see Black Adam for
also
the first time ever. For the first
Adam.
main roster. Like everyone's advertising this match, this coming SmackDown between the El Legado de Fantasma against Hit Row, and they're wondering who's going to be their fourth. My pick is more than likely is going to be Carmelo.
After, and it's funny because Melo talked about not joining Hit Row, and now he's going to be a part of it. What's going to happen to Trick though?
Yeah, that's just it. Melo, Trick, it would be a nice alternate because right now Hit Row's outnumbered, and
they don't have good talkers. I'm sorry, they don't have good talkers
because B.O.W ain't a talker. Dollar's a talker when it comes to a certain point. Ashanti is the athlete.
Yeah.
So
they need Melo, who is an athlete and a talker, and they need Trick Williams to be a mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And then they outnumber Legado 5-4.
We just need to change his gimmick a little bit.
Who, Melo?
Mello.
What's wrong with the one he got now?
The tights and I mean, the
I
shorts.
mean, but that's just his wrestling gear, though. Every other time he's dripped out. And the man literally, after every person he's beaten, has a jersey hung up as if he's actually retiring them. That's money. That's
So
cold.
about Carmelo, before he made it to the E, one of the guys I wrestled actually designed a pair of biker shorts for him.
Nice.
Wow.
He made them.
Boy, you was connected in the wrestling industry.
Yeah, before he got to the E and became Carmelo Hayes, he was known as Christian Casanova. Nova.
I kind of like that the fact his name was changed to Carmelo Hayes. Not even gonna lie to you. I like that. Mellow. Mellow don't miss.
Yeah.
Don't.
And my condolences to Kevin Nash as well, losing his son.
Condolences.
Because the crazy part is his son was the same age as me.
Wow.
Wow.
Godspeed, man.
And I'm like, man, if that ain't something, I don't know
I'm
what.
sorry to interrupt you, but I hear an animal in the background. Who has a cat?
No, that's my dog.
It must be a tiny dog.
No, it's not. Risky.
Wow, that dog sounds like it's meowing.
It did. I was
Right. I'm lost.
Now, if you hear meows, that'll be me.
He's a
But
pet.
that was not it.
okay.
That was
No, we got a dog and a cat on the show too, huh? Bring your pet day. What?
Okay. I did not know that Kevin Nash had lost his son.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was on Twitter for a while now.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was days ago.
I believe
And,
that happened like Wednesday.
and the scary part, it was also the same day as Scott Hall's birthday when his son passed. That's scary.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, that hurts.
Like he lost
both
his
of them.
son in the same year.
Prayers up. For real.
So, like even promoters that I've met in passing have even sent out condolences to Kevin Nash.
Yeah, that's a lot of pain in 1 year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Come on, let's lighten the mood up, please. This is supposed to be the celebration of the 10th episode. My God. I even made a topic for Kukai to gush on about because he loves this so much.
Action.
I'm going to let you take the floor. Let us talk about the importance of factions.
So if you are the promoter, help me out, Kenny, and we're booking, and you have like AEW, too many people on your roster. You also have too many belts, but we're going to stick with too many people. And you have to give them TV time. Then what I'm seeing happening in the E with AJ Styles and the OC pairing up helps you keep people in the ring. Gunter, the Brawling Brutes, we're seeing it successfully. We're seeing it being done better in the E than we are in AEW. But to me, factions have always been a way to bring people along who aren't ready yet. Because if you keep them in a group, then you got ways for them to develop, like they're doing Dominic with Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, downside is you run through your roster real quick. No different than what they did with AJ Styles coming out, talking, throwing the threats, and then now you got to set up individual solo runs, even with the faction. Or you end up having pay-per-views where it's everybody versus the Horsemen, because they've got all the belts. Or what we're dealing with right now with the Bloodline, where it's like literally just everybody versus the Bloodline. For those who are in the gimmick, it's keeping the gimmick, because as soon as you fall out with somebody or you're at the hotel room and you don't get along with that person, now the idea of the gimmick making money for everybody is always on the table. And if you can't get along with these people long term, then you got to do breakup scenarios, or a third one of the three doesn't show up. and you got to explain that. And the promoter is, for all intents and purposes, underwater at that point. Am I off?
No, you got it.
Spot on.
That's why Santina and Ortiz on AEW. That's why they're no longer a part of That's why they had to change the whole inner circle. Now it's the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Well,
Don't get along.
Long story about that. See, Santana's a hothead. That's what even Conan himself has pointed out. Santana wants more. Like, Santana actually wants to elevate his career. Ortiz, on the other hand, is the more laid back, I'm happy to be paid type of guy. He's content where he is. They didn't see eye to eye on that. That's why there's tension there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, if you recall, WWE had a whole host of factions in the 90s, early 2000s, the mid 2000s. In fact, in the mid 2000s, there were two factions that held all the belts on both brands.
Yep.
JBL's Cabinet and Evolution.
Yep.
So
JBL's Cabinet, man, that brought back memories. I hated them suckers, man.
Yeah,
I hated them.
Go back. But the only thing that separated JBL's Cabinet from Evolution is the fact all those guys in Evolution were being groomed.
Yep. No one else elevated in JBL's Cabinet.
Because Orlando Jordan, he didn't improve. He was stagnant.
Garbage.
The Bashams, they were a solid tag team, but I'm not going to say that they were garbage. I'm not going to say that, but other than the fact that they looked alike, what was their gimmick?
Dominatrix.
Yeah.
Hey.
Really try to forget that part.
Chill. Relax.
I'm just saying that's what it was. It was BDism.
Sir.
That's what it was.
Sir.
What do you want me to say? I'm not gonna lie.
Don't say nothing.
That's what it was.
See, now,
they had the tall chocolate chick that was in the leather and the
Shaniqua. And I'm mad that they gave her the most stereotypical black woman name that they could think of.
Praise God.
Why are you making me remember this? Why are you forcing me to remember?
Is an actual African name.
What's that name?
It is.
Shaniqua is an actual African name.
It is, but it's been stereotyped to all hell.
I get you. I give up there. Tap out.
Where you think Shanae came from?
I know. I was there. In living color.
Oh. I was actually referring to Martin, but
that's right. See how you did me? See?
I mean, I love In Living Color too. Don't feel bad.
I'm playing with you, man. Dude, keep going, man.
But the point being is that the factions did play a role. As much as I hate Kukai mentioning in them in every single way as the be-all, end-all solution.
Because it does works.
I'm with a role. They do play a role, and they can elevate. They can elevate superstars. That's what it did for Styles.
Yep.
Triple H
for Kenny Omega.
DX is running things now.
Even on the small aspects such as Dolph Ziggler when he was with the Spirit Squad.
Shut up.
Hey, but that but we didn't know that at the time. We didn't know that.
Remember Kenny Dirkstra? We don't remember any of those.
But when you go back and you look at it at a point in time where you was like, oh, Dolph was right there, it makes you respect what was going on back then even more.
We don't remember that. We don't want to remember that.
No, we remember.
So
we remember.
You want to cap for Dolph Ziggler being a great wrestler, but you don't remember. You don't want to remember his origins of him getting super kicked in his time in the Spirit Squad. You hypocrite. You don't really love Dolph. You don't really love Dolph like that. I don't even love Dolph, but I remember him in the Spirit Squad. They did a whole storyline with that when they brought him back. I'll never forget that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You about to get muted, brother.
So So look, speaking of factions, right? Since I want to throw this out of there, right? So now that we have the faction talk, how do you all feel about JBL being paired with Baron Corbin?
Love it.
I like it. He needed it.
It makes sense.
He's already Baron Corbin is already universally disliked, even though he's actually a decent person in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Between him actually being friends with MJF on Twitter and him teaming up with JBL, there is no reason this man should not become a super mega heel.
Yeah.
He got paired with JB. People hate this man in real life. Forget this should do wonders for Baron Corbin as long as they don't let JBL outshine.
Which I don't believe they will.
Background role. Exactly.
It's like when Tony Atlas managed Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Boy, I miss Atlas. You don't remember you don't remember that guy that came out with Mark Henry that always had that laugh?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that laugh was iconic. That killed me every time.
Tony Atlas, the big coon.
Oh,
Bruh. Like, why are we bringing
I mean, he showed up for Bruce Brody.
bro? These are all moments we are definitely trying to forget. Please stop bringing.
Damn coon in there.
That's not how he laughs, though.
Trevor,
That's actually how he laughed.
Yeah. That's why I loved it. That's why I loved it so much. He actually laughs like that in real life.
I'm gonna get canceled in the Brotherhood of Wrestling.
You about to be banned for the next couple shows. Relax.
That's it, pal.
Who is?
Warren.
You're
Wait.
done. Wait, how did Damien put it? It's over. You're washed. You're done. By the way, the amount of factions that we have, War Games should absolutely be a showstopper pay-per-view. Because we have Legado del Fantasma, we have the Judgment Day, we have the OC that are now back. Who else? I know I'm missing a couple. We got Hit Row. The whole bloodline. How could I forget that?
Wyatt 6.
See, I'm still in the dark with that.
So
because I'm wondering.
I'm
sorry.
I think Lib is actually going to be a part of that because
she should have been a part of it.
Huh?
She should have been a part of it.
People online wanted Liv to be a part of it, even more so than Alexa.
Also,
Sister Abigail
to make their return too.
Huh?
The Viking Raiders are getting ready to make their return too,
Yep,
and
Viking Raiders, and they're coming back with Sarah Logan. Yeah.
Yep.
But are we in fear of too many factions? See,
no,
we're not in fear of too many.
No, not temporarily. Temporarily.
Even with all the factions, it's not as much as AEW.
Correct. That's like all AEW is.
Triple H would know how to manage them all.
Because
he did it with NXT.
What about Imperium? The Brawling Brutes.
Imperium. They are called the Brawling Brutes by so we got to come up with a different name for them. The Brawling Brutes is nice, but it's got to be something with their whole banger after banger theme, because they've sold me on that. They put that phrase over every time I see them. Every time I watch them wrestle, I'm like, it's another one. We got another banger on our hand. It's another classic. And so at the end of every show, I'm like, banger after banger. It's like they're coming out with a shirt, and I actually want to buy that shirt.
My dream card for Survivor Series War Games is the 3-way War Games match between Imperium, the Brawling Brutes, and Gallus. Now, if anyone's watched any of the NXT UK pay-per-views, they know that Gallus is probably just as, if not more, hard-hitting than either the Brawling Brutes or Imperium.
Yeah, your dream match is going to turn off Chase because he doesn't like strong style.
Who's Gallus?
Gallus is the team of Wolfgang.
Former NXT UK champions.
Yep, the team of Wolfgang, Mark, and Joe Coffey. These guys, just
stiff boys.
Yeah, they were the Brawling Brutes before the Brawling Brutes.
The Brawling Brutes just got over.
I just don't want too many factions. Like I'm not too much against. It's like a 20% of me. That's just a 20%. That's
It's
against
because
it.
of how you've seen factions being ran on AEW.
It's not. No. It's not even. It's not even AEW. It's just when you take it to account.
Well,
Bianca Bella, right?
Uh-huh.
Bianca Bella. She just had a feud with a faction, a newly faction with Bailey and everyone, right?
Uh-huh.
But with them feuds, how legit do you need the factions to be, or want the factions to be, especially if they take major L's? You see what I'm saying? So that's the fear right there, because you can have as many over, but you can't legitimize all of them on the same level.
You won't be able to legitimize them. You're absolutely right. But more than likely, it's going to be the heel factions going over. That's how it usually is. Legado, definitely going over. Judgment Day, already over as villains. It's going to be the heel guys. That's how you keep it balanced. And that's what Triple H did with NXT. Undisputed Era.
I trust Triple H to do it. It's just, and like you say, maybe it don't have anything to do with AEW. It's really with WWE, and seeing how Vince has fumbled it as well. So
I mean, Vince fumbled it, but we're talking about Triple H, and
that's why I say Triple H. I have more of confidence in him running it.
No, Vince has fumbled it. It's not as bad as what AEW is doing with their factions right now, for the most part. Where is Andrade Cien Almas?
Well,
he don't want to even be there because of Sammy. Andrade said in the interview that he has wrestled with John Cena. He has wrestled with some of the hardest hitting people in the industry, and he wrestled Sammy Guevara, and Sammy complains that he getting hit too hard. So that's what he been at.
Clowning. But I mean, to me, it helps with the storylines to create legitimate tension. Because when people can't get along with each other, personal problems draw money. We just got through talking about the dirt sheets. We're talking about social media and the solo runs that set up for gimmick matches where it's stipulations to keep the factions out, which keeps us watching. Now, right now, what they're doing,
even though
because
some of these
they've done,
don't even follow those rules anyway. But go on.
But I hear it. But they don't. But I mean, but Bianca right now, they don't know what to do with her, so they start having her with tag teams in order to deal with that and keep her on the screen, because we are there to watch. So I mean, it just gives the promotion wiggle room to keep doing stuff. Because otherwise,
you can have interlaced storylines in between the factions too, because could be some forbidden interactions and whatnot too. Some factions, everyone in the factions may not even hate each other; they're just going along with it.
Oh, all day. And then when the leaders of the various factions start fighting, it's just easy to keep doing the Marvel universe. It's just easier to keep coming up with the different storylines.
By the way, faction with the best story right now has to either go to the Judgment Day with everything going on with Edge, and the whole thing with the Bloodline and Sammy.
Sammy,
it's the Bloodline with me.
Jay Uso and Sami Zayn have so much chemistry on screen; it's hilarious.
Yep.
Let's be honest.
Works.
My dog.
As far as we know, the match that's going to steal the show at Crown Jewel is Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley.
Yeah,
that's what we hope. That's what we hope.
I feel like Brock and Bobby will deliver. The fact that it's not even about a title
makes it all the more.
Let me mess y'all head up. What if Shelton Benjamin gets involved and he's torn between the two?
They've actually apparently main event is actually starting to get good too, because they're having storylines spill into Raw and SmackDown via main event. So I might start paying attention to that more. Shelton dropped the promo on R-Truth. He's saying that it's been a while since he's felt like he's been taken serious. So Shelton mentioned the gold standard gimmick, something I haven't heard in forever.
Almost 12 years.
So, I mean, I'm down with it. He doesn't necessarily have to involve himself in the Hurt Business or doing a Hurt Business reunion, because it would be just Shelton, and MVP is doing stuff with Omos right now. So
crazy enough, half of this card is, let's just say it because Big E, we hope he comes back. Well, let's just say it for him. Big, meaty man slapping meat.
It's true.
Thank God.
We got Omos versus Braun Strowman. This is the first time I've ever seen someone taller than Braun Strowman, by the way. Omos is a giant. I was just like,
Big Show is
taller than Braun?
Big Show's taller than Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Huh.
Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a steel cage.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Boring.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if this steel cage match does not deliver, I'm giving up on Kross. I'm giving up on Kross. The dream is dead. The dream is dead.
I don't think it's the match. I just don't think it's the match for them.
And that's what I'm saying, because I said my argument for why the strap match was behind was for different reasons. But I was basically making excuses for Karrion Kross because I've seen what he does behind the scenes, and what he does behind the scenes does not translate into the ring. Now, a steel cage match can be violent as hell. It can be.
No, I don't see it with them.
Need Scarlett to interfere for him to win. That's the thing that killed it for me, because
I'm just like, why? Why didn't you choke out Drew with the strap? Something. Have a cough of blood.
Woman, your wife.
Violence.
Like, seriously, why don't have your woman, your wife, mind you,
she
spray
in that man's
so you can win the match.
It makes Kross look like a punk.
That's up to you.
Drew slamming that man's head in a truck. I'm just like, y'all clowning Kross now. Y'all really clowning this man. Like what I saw in TNA and MLW, I'm not seeing any of in NXT. I'm not seeing any of this on the main roster, and it's hurting me.
Well, in TNA, he did have that thing with Moose, and Moose kind of beat his ass.
I mean, that's Moose, though.
Yeah, and then Sami Callihan, too.
It's something about this guy. It has nothing to do with his gimmick. Nothing to do with gimmick. His gimmick is A1, but it is something about this guy in-ring ability that don't register. Like, he's one of those, I feel like maybe he will flourish so much better in AEW. Because it's something is going on with him.
It's his wrestling style that he's doing. He's not supposed to be. He doesn't have the physique to wrestle big man style. He's not a Taker. He's not a Batista. He should not be wrestling that style. Give this man a submission move set, and he would give this man. He's already got the psycho gimmick. Right. Give this man a submission move set and shave his head, because that's what he specializes in.
The man is 6'3".
Okay.
Keep going.
Imagine this. All right.
Big.
Let me paint a picture.
50.
He's already big and hulking, right? So that should already be intimidating. But a big hulking dude. Imagine if freaking. You know what? Perk Angle's a perfect example. How big he had gotten, right?
He was only 6 foot even.
Huh?
235 pounds.
Did he not get swole? He already looked like a threat. Place him already looking like a threat on top of what he did to your body.
What are you saying?
Yeah, look, Kurt Angle wasn't actually 6 feet. I actually stood in front of this man, and I'm taller than him. And I'm 5'10" easily.
This is my point. People were made, you already have the threatening look, okay? People feared Angle because of his submission moveset. Now imagine a big hulking dude who knows who knows how to break you and fold you apart. I'm thinking like Bane, like Breaking Back type stuff. That's exactly what he would. That's exactly what he would be like. Make him Bane.
I was hoping to do that with Braun Strowman.
No. Braun doesn't need a submission moveset. He doesn't need a submission moveset.
I was saying make a Bane type, that mercenary type, where it's just
Listen, I watched Cross when he was the White Rabbit in Lucha Underground. This man had a mandible claw as a finisher, and his gimmick was based on horror. Like, he was part of the Rabbit tribe in Lucha Underground.
I remember the White Rabbit stuff. Yep.
Yeah, with Paul London and Mala Suerte and all those guys.
Yep.
I'll never forget what he did to Sammy Guevara in the season finale of season 4 of Lucha Underground. And it was brutal. That mandible claw had Sammy spitting up blood. So that's right there is what they need to get him back to. Maybe not with the blood, but make him look
violent. Make him violent again.
Yeah, because I about to say he don't. Like I say,
Cross is violent.
No. His gimmick do. See, that's what I'm saying. The build-ups, like to me, the build-ups to the matches, his interferences, his faces, the black and white, everything about the gimmick is great. That's not the problem. It's in the ring. It's then what are you going to do after the build-up and everything? Now what do we have here? And what we have here don't adds up to the gimmick. This guy in the gimmick and this guy in the ring is two different people. That's what it is.
That's what Kenny was talking about. And you said Lucha Underground, the gimmick and the in-ring was exactly the same.
Because
and it's funny that isn't the mandible like a hold?
Like they had Paul London scared of this man.
Like
mandible claw, that's definitely that's the Mick Foley Mankind move, Mr. Sacco basically.
But the way he did it, it's like
he's using his bare hands, isn't he?
Yeah, he's using.
It's how the Fiend did it.
He makes his hand look like this, and he just sticks it down your throat, and I'm like, dang, that looked brutal.
Shoving his fist down your throat.
Just about.
I don't see how they can't make this.
Are hearing yourselves right now? I'm sorry, I have to interject. Are y'all hearing yourselves? Like,
hey, shut up and make out with Dolph Ziggler. Nobody talking to you.
But no, Chase, what is it? Like, are you talking as far as the gimmick or just his wrestling? Like, what is it? Like, I really want to know. Maybe you got the answers.
Talking about him shoving a fist down your throat, and that is a sellable move.
See, me personally, I'm over the mandible claw. So it's give or take with that. I'm over the mandible claw.
It's the way it was done and sold. You said Sammy Guevara was what, coughing up blood?
Yeah.
Chris Benoit is turning over in his grave at this moment.
But here's my thing. Say we don't do that. Give him something that it looks like he's actually breaking you apart.
Or trying to kill you.
Yes.
I
tell you, and this is why I always go back to his NXT debut. When you see the man, he came to NXT in a suit. And then you pan out to him completely shirtless, shirt torn up, but you see the locker room like laid out. And he's zooming out. He had someone in like a damn near sleeper hold. They were foaming at the mouth. You would think they were dead if you didn't know it was kayfabe. Like, we're not seeing that on the main roster. The way NXT in your house.
It's just
Karrion Kross versus Tommaso Ciampa. We had never seen Ciampa dismantled like that ever. And granted, he's small, right? But Ciampa was always been a scrappy son of a gun. Always. So to see him dismantled in such a way by Kross, and he's supposed to be one of NXT's forefathers, right? Tommaso Ciampa. See him get dismantled like that, it sent a message. That same message is not being sent on the main roster. And I don't know why they're not booking him like that.
But they did book him at the top already by putting him through.
I don't care what position he is. If you're not booking him how he's supposed to be booked, it doesn't matter if he's near the top.
I don't think there's a way you can really book Karrion Kross as a monster. It's no room anymore for any more monsters on the roster.
I'm not saying book him like a monster.
A monster.
I'm
They're
not saying book him like a monster.
book him like a merc.
I would, if anything, I would just let him do a repeat of the Psycho Sid.
But Psycho Sid was in a group of monsters on his own. Like, think about that time frame.
He's on his own though. That's what.
But he don't need to be a monster. Like if there's any Tekken fans out there, like a Brian, if it was like a Brian type aspect.
Exactly. You are speaking my language.
If it was a Brian type.
For those of you who are not video game fans, Brian is actually a half man, half machine, cyborg character. Brian Fury, thank you. That's his full name.
Yeah.
And this man was just like a murderous psychopath. He
reeks hell.
Wasn't a monster, but he scared the living daylights out of you.
He did.
That's what I want. That is. Thanks you, Mello. That is perfect right there.
So
that's
Brian Fury.
So what Kenny is saying then, with using him as a merc, then that means he can interfere. Do you have him chasing a belt, or do you have him chasing personal problems?
You have him do whatever he wants.
That's a good question.
Because that's what thank you. That's what he was on the main roster.
Exactly.
Catholic, not on NXT.
He
went after who he wanted to go after. Didn't matter what it was for. If he wanted the belt, he was going to go after the belt. If he just didn't like you,
I would mid-card him for at least a year.
Fair.
I would too, yeah.
Fair. All I want for him to do is be that murderous psychopath, that Brian Fury.
I would put that title on him next.
Huh?
Which title?
Honestly, I would put that Intercontinental title. I'd put that on him next.
But that would mean having him squash Gunther.
Ain't no way in hell.
Which makes him strong.
Hold on right now.
Hold on. I like that idea because that gives credence back to his character, makes him look strong again, and subsequently makes the Intercontinental title look strong again as well.
Okay, wait. Hold on.
1 stone.
We gotta do it. We gotta do it right though. We can't just have him root Gunther like that. He's got to dismantle He's got to dismantle Imperium like bit by bit. Like he got to take them out.
Right.
I'm with it.
Right,
but he have to be believable. That's what we're saying, treating him like a merc. But he have to
merc.
The merc.
Go, Mello.
I feel I just in the match, like okay, like everything can add up with his gimmick. That's cool. He could take everybody out. He could do everything, steel chairs, whatever it is to lead up to that very moment. But in the match,
submission.
I don't believe Gunther he can't out wrestle Gunther. You have to make it believable, and he can't out wrestle him.
Give him his submissions. That was one of Gunther's his biggest Gunther was a good man. He could slobber knock with anybody. But he always had trouble with submission specialists and technicians.
I got it.
That's why Pete Dunne gave him an issue.
So do like what Taker did to Big Show and have him soak his elbow pads with sodium pentothal and put him in the cross jacket. The referee didn't see it happen. He was on the side
cold,
soaking his elbow pads in the chloroform. And puts him in the cross jacket. He doesn't respond, lose the title. That way you save Gunther's persona because the whole crowd says he didn't technically tap out. He passed out from the chloroform.
Cross wasn't even on the agenda tonight, but here we are because Cross wasn't even on the agenda tonight. But we're so worried about that steel cage match.
Mm-hmm.
Because that strap match sucked, like Mello said.
I'm sorry, I didn't even mean to cuss.
Okay,
it sucked. Me personally, I really hated it.
It was the worst match at Extreme.
Please don't make me go get that little ass strap that they was trying to sell me.
Wait. I'm gonna do the same thing, but with a hanger. They were just doing
boom, right? They were doing what to do.
Brian had the best.
So if you can mess up a strap match,
Mama
what in the world's going to happen inside of the cage? And especially since the last cage match that we really saw was Cody versus Seth.
And that
was epic.
Violent.
Correct. That was epic. So now you got to do something that's comparable, and you have no blood because they still got that no blood policy.
Who does?
Oh,
WWE. They have a no blood policy.
They're no blading. No blading right now. It has to be real blood. So that means you got to do a real injury for it to happen. Otherwise, you're getting fined.
That's why
I'm with Mello right now. Our trepidation is valid that this man in a cage match right now, which is what should get you over, should make you money, should get you, us talking about you for the next week.
And please don't you run Drew through no goddamn steel cage. I'm sick of seeing that too. Don't you?
Mello is hitting with hammers, dude. With John Henry hammers.
Like I need something.
I'm tired of seeing that spot. I need someone's face grinded on the cage.
You know what? Fuck it.
I need.
We not supposed to be. I'm cussing. Fuck it. Do blood. We need blood in that match. That's the only way he getting over. We need him to bust Drew open. He has to bust him open.
You got to kill him. There's no reason Drew should be, especially after everything Drew has been doing. There's no reason Drew should. I swear, if the match ends in someone climbing the cage, I'm going to be upset.
In fact, it'd be good if Drew got some time off and he could come back.
Because his back.
Right, because of his back. So Carl should put him down. He goes onto the shelf, and then he's back for Rumble or for WrestleMania.
I just want to ask, how do we make a steel cage great again? We got you need blood, right? To me.
Yep.
Take away we need. Me personally, escaping out the door or a pinfall submission, take it out. I don't like it. The only way you can win is if you climb that cage.
That ending should only be reserved for heels. No face should ever be
exactly.
Okay, let's go back. If we really want to make a steel cage match great again, we have to go back all the way to the 80s.
This wasn't on the agenda either.
I quit steel cage United States Championship match between Tully Blanchard and Magnum TA is a prime example of how to make the steel cage great again. The only way to lose that match or end the match was for someone to say, I quit in the cage.
Okay, now look, that was the whole point. The reason for the cage was because the factions kept interfering and you had to keep the factions out. You had to keep outside interference. So you put the two main characters in the cage to keep everybody else out. That was the whole point. There was no need.
People getting clever. It's like, oh, I could just grab the key and go up in there. Oh, I could just break the chain.
And my thing is, it's fine and it's cool. But in order to establish a steel cage, because as far as we know, the steel cage is going, every time we see a steel cage, we don't have that feeling anymore. Like, oh, this is about to be good.
Last time I had the genuine feeling of a really good steel cage match, really, really good, not even on NXT, was Eddie Guerrero versus JBL. SmackDown.
And no blood.
And there was no blood. That 5-star frog splash off the top of the cage. I remember it was yesterday.
And you don't need blood. You don't need blood. You don't necessarily need blood. But sometimes it's necessary depending on the feud, such as Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross. I feel like this warrants blood. It warrants blood. It warrants a no escape through the door.
It warrants an injury.
Exactly. That through the door escape, I'm just, as far as a steel cage match fan, I don't want to see no one going through a door. The only way to get out is through climbing. That's it. Well, it brings back the specialty. It brings back, it makes the match special again, in my opinion, because you can't just pinfall, submission, or escape through the door. You have to climb.
Let me give you my present prediction on this. This is how we're going to
vice president.
True.
Go ahead.
I just get sun. Did I just get sun?
Hey, you just Black Adam you.
You're the one that put me in the position, buddy. You should have seen this coming a mile. Go off though.
Shazam.
What was I gonna say? Oh, the way I see this happening, Drew. This is gonna be Drew's time off. This is gonna end in injury. So this is gonna you heard it first from me.
Kill this man. Kill this man, Drew.
Got you.
Kill him.
So
now I'm in favor of injury, right? I'm in favor of using that door that I'm pertaining to, right? I'm in favor of that door being part of the injury.
Bashing Drew's head with it?
Or hell, if you want to sell Karrion Kross being a big guy, tear that motherfucking door off the hinges and bring it in the cage. You know, it's ways you can sell it.
And beat the hell out of Drew with the door?
With the door.
Oh, don't even let the match start and just beat the hell out of Drew and put him out of commission.
That's why
Kenny, yes. Broken, battered, bleeding mess.
Yeah.
Thought he ain't getting no paper, ain't getting no match.
No, listen. All roads lead to him being injured because I believe it's time for him to be first. All right, it's time for an evolution in character. And I think coming back as a heel is going to do him some justice. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Probably. Because now he can revisit that Chosen One gimmick.
Yep. Come back with a new gimmick / a little hint of the Chosen One.
Nostalgia, yeah.
And a little bit of some new theme music because of that. Getting on my nerves.
And a new finisher. And a new finisher.
I didn't like it.
It's cool for a little minute.
I liked it. I definitely did like the drums, but Broken Dreams will always be my favorite. And it would fit him more as a heel than a face.
Yep.
Out of time. So say goodbye. I was just, if he comes out to that and full and not the little bit we got.
Right, because he teased it. He teased it.
Just like, sir, that is exactly why you lost. You should have came out to your full theme. Otherwise, you should have came out to your full theme. You would
definitely should have.
Everybody knows that when a wrestler comes out to a brand spanking new theme, your percentage of winning goes up.
Just like Balor at the last pay-per-view.
Do we remember when Roman?
Finn Balor.
Last pay-per-view.
Right. Finn Balor, right.
Finn Balor. Right. Do we remember when Roman debuted his new theme? I was
Hell like, yes.
Oh, this man is dead. He got a new theme. Oh boy, I feel so bad for you in the ring. You ain't winning jack.
And I think he did it. And I think he did it against Daniel Bryan, if I'm not mistaken.
Roman came out as a final boss. That is final boss music. I was just like, oh yeah, this man is dead. Rest in peace, Bozo. It's over. You getting packaged, shipped to another wrestling company. Same day delivery.
And amazing. It's an amazing gimmick, I must say. I love his music.
That is the only time I'll ever acknowledge the bloodline on here. We the ones. That's it. All right. That's the only time I will do that. Because damn it, when I heard that thing for the first time, I was just like, yeah. Yeah. And then all of Seth's themes have been bangers. That's
Seth.
We're gonna talk about next week. Wrestling music. That's another theme we're gonna touch on. Because man, that music.
Because if you listen closely, he's going to win a title belt because that music he got right now.
That new song is growing on me.
Ooh,
it's growing on me. And then I'm loving his promos. It's very subtle. You still don't 100% know.
We know he's gonna hurt people.
We're all speculating.
We know he's going to hurt people, and we know he's not going to feel bad about it.
And then we see this guy, Uncle Howdy. I'm just like, who is this guy?
Yeah, I don't know who
This is not
who the Howdy
mask
is.
The other mask. This is a new mask. Who is this?
Right.
And then the wink at the end after the end of the promo, I was just like,
let me say this.
More, I need it. Hook it into my veins. This is my drug.
All right.
It's only been 2 weeks, Chase.
I'm not a fan yet.
It's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, no.
Chase, you need some Tylenol, some Pepto-Bismol.
Chase wakes up out. Chase wakes up.
You need some medicine.
Bad hate.
If you haven't
of the century.
Let me explain something to you all. You got with this new way of understanding of wrestling make me sick. I have to put
hate. He hates your guts. That's all I'm hearing right now.
Yeah.
You talking about this new way of wrestling as if this isn't the norm. I need you to adapt.
No,
even the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is adaptable. We got him on modern technology. I need you to adapt to this new way of wrestling. Otherwise, you are going to get left behind in the dust.
Let me explain something to you. Wrestling.
He's going to explain. He's going to explain. Meaning he's going to form his own opinion.
Chase-plaining.
Chase-plaining. That's what we're going to call it. Chase-plaining.
Like Chris Benoit.
Here he goes, going back to the olden days.
Like Bret the Hitman Hart.
What are we doing?
Like Dean Malenko.
What are you doing, man?
Bro, you know what? Forget Joe Budden. We're just gonna
call you. He said, "What are we doing?"
Boomer Chase. Boomer Chase. That's what we're going to call you. Boomer Chase. That is how I'm going to introduce you on this show from now on. Because even Kukai is older than you, and he has updated takes. He's older than you. This man was around for the golden age of wrestling. Well, there wasn't even color in wrestling when this man was watching it.
Hey, now look. Hey, you're laying it on a little too thick.
Well, bro, how are you? You're younger than this man, and you're even more of a wrestling boomer than him. How?
Listen. Technical wrestling beats this new way that you got.
Everybody's not gonna want to watch a technical wrestling match.
Yes,
I still gotta make money, man. How are we making money?
Money.
It's still a business. Work with us, Chase.
I mean, hey, Chase, I understand where you're coming from, but last week when you said that the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium was trash, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to sit here and defend you right now.
After banger.
Let's be real. You all like watching UFC matches. Y'all don't like watching wrestling.
What?
Excuse me?
Y'all like UFC matches.
Bro, I've never paid for a UFC pay-per-view in my life.
Yeah,
hold on, Chase. I did pay for UFC. Ready? It was UFC 1, UFC 2, UFC 3.
And he stopped at 3.
And
they're at like 200 and something now?
Guy Metzger and Tito Ortiz and Kimo Leopoldo.
You guys like watching UFC. Because that's all today's wrestling is. Guys chopping and punching each other.
But ain't that a knock to the very person you keep bringing up in Chris Benoit? He didn't hit soft.
He was wrestling stiff. He sure was wrestling stiff. So again, you are not only are you a boomer, you're a hypocrite.
No.
Hypocrite.
No, I'm not gonna let you do that.
Boomer hypocrite.
I'm not gonna let you do that because Chris Benoit was not wrestling strong style. Chris Benoit was a technical wrestler. He didn't do the whole.
But Sheamus is not a strong style wrestler, but he wrestles strong. He hits hard.
There's just straight hits, which is strong style, and then there's wrestling stiff. You can wrestle stiff even as a submission specialist. Pete Dunne.
And that was Chris Benoit.
No, he wasn't.
Oh God.
Serious, dude?
Oh God. Where do you think the knife edge chop even came from?
Correct.
The name Knife Edge.
He was not a stiff worker.
Oh God. He busted his own head on people.
Here's my
the headbutt, dude. Is a jumping from the top rope.
When I think
from the top rope. I'm confused.
Medicine, I get it now. Chase thinks that there are specific things that's stiff wrestling.
No.
Come on now.
All right, let's give him. Let's go.
I'm ready to hear the BS. Go ahead.
Go, man.
Belongs to people like Goldberg.
What?
Stiff.
And this is what I said. BS.
That's squash.
That's dangerous. That ain't stiff.
That is stiff.
That's not stiff.
Are y'all crazy?
Goldberg is stiff.
He concussed Bret Hart.
No, that's dangerous. That's not stiff. He's dangerous. Like Ryback is not stiff. Ryback is not stiff. Wait, Ryback is stiff?
Y'all making stiff synonymous with strong.
No, we're not. You are.
No, I'm not.
Kenny, where are you, man? Please. You're the wrestler here.
Okay.
Tell us the difference between strong style and working stiff. Please, you're the wrestler. Because Chase is not going to hear it from us. We don't step in the ring. You do.
Strong style is specifically a style that's mostly exclusive to Europe and Japan, which Benoit is actually a graduate from. He's a graduate from Japan. And not only that, there's working snug, there's working stiff, and then there's strong style. There's 3 levels of this. And Benoit worked the border between snug and stiff. So his stuff, he laid it in, but he wasn't trying to lay it in to kill. So he snug.
Snug is no daylight.
Stiff would be like the Nasty Boys, JBL.
JBL works stiff.
Like Sheamus works stiff.
Rhino works stiff.
Alberto Del Rio, stiff. He legitimately knocked out Daniel Bryan. Now, guys, like, I know you hate me for saying this, Chase, but Benoit, Jericho, Hardcore Holly, Guerrero, all those guys work snug, which is more common down in Texas.
I agree.
So that means no daylight. Snug means no daylight, right?
Hold on. No. That's what I was trying to convey.
No, snug means lay it in, but don't lay it in so hard that you try to hurt, Now,
right, there's no daylight.
My question.
It looks real. It's a no daylight, but I'm not trying to hurt you, but there's no daylight. Snug.
Right.
So my question is to you, was Goldberg stiff?
Goldberg was just fucking reckless. He didn't.
Like Mello just said, man. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you. He just confirmed that you can work stiff without hurting people. There's a line. There's a line.
Then why he wasn't
match against Regal?
That's your opinion, but we just heard from the mouth of an actual wrestler.
He just said Benoit was snug,
which is a level of stiff.
He said. He said. Walk the line between snug and stiff.
No one got.
That's exactly what he said.
Why?
The only one.
No one got injured wrestling Sheamus.
Was Benoit.
Sheamus is argument. Sheamus ain't my argument. I never said Sheamus.
I'm just me personally. I'm just talking the definition between the stiff and strong style, because you said last week that match was trash because of strong style.
And
but
we said they were working stiff.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's how they work in Europe. They're all European.
I like to see technical.
See now he's changing his topic. You see it?
I'm not.
Yo, admit it before you change the topic. Admit you were wrong. Right now.
That part.
Right now.
No. Right now. All right. Man.
Admit it. Right now. You are
You're
wrong.
doing a Vince McMahon right now, man. You're doing a Vince. You're just being stubborn to be stubborn.
You all are.
Admit it. I will not let you change the topic. I will not. Admit you were wrong, and then we go to the next topic.
For the Kool-Aid.
Hold on, man.
That's what I'm gonna start calling it. I'm gonna start calling it. You all had a sip of the strong style Kool-Aid. That's what this is. You all are off the Kool-Aid.
It's just a confusion. There's a confusion with the strong style and the stiff aspect as far as how we viewing it, I guess, because Sheamus is not strong style at all.
It's not.
Hell, and don't know how to pull back at times.
I put it to you like this. When you watch Brett matches, it looks like Brett is working what you would say snug. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However, there's a person alive, not a wrestler alive, that has wrestled Bret Hart. They can tell you that he hurt them. Not one. Same thing for Benoit.
Okay.
That's not true.
I forgot about Sabu.
Yeah. Sabu had his neck broken.
That was it.
No, Taz.
Sabu actually.
Taz
didn't go all the way over on that suplex. That was on Sabu. That wasn't on Benoit.
Taz. What about Taz?
Taz, what did he do to Taz? I forgot.
Taz took a suplex the wrong way. In fact, I honestly think that was a combination of how short Taz was when he took that German in ECW.
Yeah, I think I remember what you're talking about. He put him on his neck, right?
Yeah, that's why Taz still has neck issues to this day. Guerrero at One Night Stand.
You're losing points here.
I just don't.
They both hurt each other in that match. Honestly.
Chris Benoit, let me tell you something. I don't need Mike Tyson. I don't need Mike Tyson to sit here and to tell me that Chris Benoit used to hit their ass hard. I don't need nobody to sit here and tell me that man, regardless if he hurted you or not, he hit you how he wanted you. Like that you can't argue that.
That's the difference. That's all we literally been trying to say. Literally.
Daniel Pewter.
Thank you for showing up, Kenny. Shout out to Kenny.
We just did work, man. We just did some work.
Next time, we're all talking about our opinions. We're gonna go to Kenny and get the actual wrestling facts, since he is the one that steps in this ring.
Yeah, all of you. You're all fine.
I just because we feel honestly it's a bit of bias that plays in this, man.
It does,
because there's no way, even with your thought of strong style, being a fan of a wrestling match that you thought last week. Yes, I'm going back to it because last week that match was not bad.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like I'm not like, oh my God, I gotta see that again.
I watch it again, sure.
I would.
But that's to each his own. That's to each his own.
Busted Riddle's lip at WrestleMania.
Who?
Sheamus busted Riddle's lip at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and you're gonna get busted lips in wrestling, goddammit. That's
valid.
I remember when it happened. Remember what the United States title match at WrestleMania? I don't remember if it was 38 or 36.
I mean, Riddle kicked freaking.
Yep, he kicked him in mid flip.
Who?
Yeah. He sure did. I remember that.
Mid flip.
You kept breaking up. I didn't catch that in full.
Yeah, Sheamus kicked Riddle in mid flip.
Yeah,
and busted his lip.
Riddle, I think that's karma for Riddle, because he kicked Timothy Thatcher in the mouth in the fight pit, and his whole tooth came flying out. I remember
definitely handed our a receipt that night.
Also,
like you don't break people's faces without getting a receipt.
Off Ali's new gear.
Oh, Ali looked dope.
I haven't seen it.
It's definitely lit. Look it up when you get the chance. It looks like he's a boxer.
I'm over his gimmick. I mean, his ring style, all that. And they need to do something with him.
Who? Ali?
He's a great seller. He's one of the best sellers they have, other than Dolph Ziggler. Like, he can sell amazingly. They need to do something with him.
All right, little backstory about Mustafa Ali. He an asshole.
Don't tell me that.
No, man. Like he comes to Chicago every so often and works with the freelance guys, but he'll show everyone his stuff, but he don't want no one. He want everyone to take it, but no one to attempt it or learn how to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty asshole. Like,
not only that, he told my trainer, like he actually wrestled with my trainer and told him he wasn't a main event guy.
he's an asshole.
Yeah. Nope. See, now you done single-handedly. Now I need Seth Rollins to crush this man. I best believe when Seth Rollins and Mustafa Ali have that match, I'm gonna be doing
Yeah.
You should have already been doing it.
I mean, yeah, but now even more so. Because I was just like, okay, I was like, right, I was fully behind Ali. I was like, okay, new challenge, I like it. And then you tell me this. Not anymore.
I don't think they know what to do with him. Like
they don't.
It's just there's nothing really you can really do with him. It's like
with Ali?
Yeah. There's not much you can really do with him. It's like
hell, but he can make the cruiserweight title relevant again if they just think.
The cruiserweight title is non-existent, isn't it?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Existent.
Nah,
all right. So before we end, because we're winding down now, we went through there was topics that we weren't even supposed to cover on this episode, but we're here now. Seeing as though this is celebrations, the 10th episode, I want each of you, especially Trevor, unless you're dead behind that mic, because we haven't heard you all night. God forbid. I need each and every last one of you to tell me why you love wrestling.
Who we starting with?
Me.
Whoever wants to go first.
We're gonna start with me. I like wrestling because of the oh wow feeling. I love wrestling because I just like surprises. I like seeing new things. I like seeing what I never seen before. So when I think of why I love wrestling, I have to go back to when I was a kid, when I watched wrestling. I have to think about who got me scared, who got the emotions actually out of me. Like who made me emotional. And right there, that's wrestling. That's why right now, even early in the podcast, while I'm very much against spoilers, because it takes that very feeling that made me a wrestling fan, it takes that feeling away. So me personally, I just like the off feeling. I like the surprise. I like being there and being emotionally connected and tears in my eyes and chills coming down your arm and your spine because, oh my God, this is not happening, but it really is. That's just why I love wrestling right there.
Kakai, why do you like wrestling? It's because I literally grew up in the age of kayfabe, and my childhood was meeting them. My cousin would have the Junkyard Dog over and feed him Hacksaw Jim Duggan. When I was growing up in Anchorage, they would come through in order to go to Japan. So I'd see Macho came through. He was at Village Inn and he was still Macho Man. And so seeing them as, in real life and then interacting with them and seeing them as the same character on TV, it just made a connection that was just second to none. And the lasting thing was the Dusty Rhodes versus the Horseman, especially after he broke his arm. And then he's out there and he does these beautiful promos of, we can beat the Horseman together. I'm going to reach out to you and I want you to reach out to me. And it was that literal connection of the fan base being a part of wrestling.
Beautiful, beautiful testimonies. Who else?
Me. Yes. I became a fan of wrestling by accident. I was maybe about 3 or 4, and my dad would cut it on Saturdays, and that was just, it just became like our pastime. My older brother, to bond, you know what I mean? And like we would just, as soon as the matches go off, we'll just be off the bedpost, you know what I'm saying? Elbow drop, scoops, my dad scoop slamming us, you know what I'm saying? Military pressing us into the slam, you know, and just over the years, I started back with Bob Backlund.
Wow.
That explains a lot.
I'm back from that era. I got to see matches from Bob Backlund losing the title in seconds to all the way to Bret Hart battling his brother.
It lost it to seconds to Nash.
Yeah. All the way to Bret Hart and Owen going at it in the steel cage. All the way to Razor Ramon. I was a huge fan of Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon, as you all can see with the toothpick in the ear and whatnot, man. Huge fan of it. Everybody loves a good bad guy. And just a fan of the clique itself. Yeah, just all of it, man. Following, and then I became a huge fan of ECW in high school, not high school. I say grammar school, going into high school. Catching Steve Corino, the Rhinos, the Sandmans, you know what I'm saying? That whole battle between him and the network, you know what I'm saying? Paul Heyman, RVD, you know what I'm saying? Raven, DDT, and what's the girl name? You said who?
Francine.
Franchise, you know what I'm saying? Then it became, I was a fan of WCW. I came in that era right when the NWO was getting popping. You know what I'm saying? Right when they was getting it popping. And I got to see Karl Malone, Diamond Cut, Hulk Hogan. And just I got to see Goldberg when he speared Raven out of his shoes and took the title off of him, all the way to him becoming world champion on Thursday night. Was that Thursday night that happened on Thunder that he became champion, or was that a Nitro?
That was a Nitro.
That was a Nitro. He beat Hulk Hogan Hollywood Hulk Hogan
in Georgia, the Georgia Dome.
Man, the roof blew off that place, man. All the way to Chris Benoit leaving his last match with Sid Vicious, winning the title, and then still leaving the next night over for WWE. That was like, I think that was the most revolutionary thing he could have did. It's like he won the title and still left. I was like, oh yeah, thanks, appreciate it, but I'm gone. like imagine that, man. You worked your ass off your entire career to win that title, and then leave the company the night before.
And they still didn't count it.
But yeah, that's me. That's why I'm a huge fan of wrestling, man. To this day, technical wrestling is better than strong style. Just thought I'd end off by, and Canadians do it better. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Kenny?
The reason I love wrestling, I grew up watching the families. I watched Von Erichs with my dad. I watched the Flairs, the Rhodes, and even to the very first wrestling match I saw, which was Foley versus Taker in the Hell in a Cell. Now, I'm a young cat, as everyone knows, and I'll be 27 in just 2 weeks.
Turn that.
Wait.
So imagine me at the age of 23, finally meeting Mick Foley years after watching that match. That's when I finally decided to actually step in the ring. I had just seen All Out that following weekend. I was actually at the show. I met Jungle Boy after the show. And it was then the next day I had my very first practice. And my family kind of cultivated my love of wrestling because I used to go to watch pay-per-views at my aunt's house like almost every month. I would watch SmackDown on UPN every Thursday night.
I remember them days, man.
And my mom, my dad, I had the WCW bench set as a kid. The wrestling rings, the action figures, the toy belts, the brawling buddies that WCW that used to talk. I had it all as a kid. And to this day, I'm still a wrestling fan. Nothing has changed for me to this day. And now to actually be in the ring, meeting the guys I grew up watching, it's a different feeling entirely.
Beautiful.
When is your birthday?
November 3rd.
All right.
I'm a November baby, man.
No.
November
Trey,
baby.
you got anything? Trey, you got anything? Trey gone. Sleep.
Yeah, he sleep.
Well, I guess I gotta close this out then, huh? There's a reason why I have this title here. Because there was a point of time where I stopped watching wrestling. I gave up on the product entirely because it just wasn't pulling me anymore. But my love was reignited. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go back to how it started. I would watch SmackDown with my my step grandfather, man, Loppy, please. He's no longer here. Passed away this past year. But he ignited my love for wrestling. I grew up watching Edge, and I remember Rey Mysterio's debut. Eddie Guerrero was the only wrestler I had to cling on to since there were no black faces for me to cling on to. So Eddie was my guy. Now, to the stage, I came up not in the Attitude Era, unfortunately. I was born in the 90s, but I was way too young. My parents wouldn't let me watch wrestling. So I didn't really get to start seeing it until Ruthless Aggression era, early 2000s. And even then, I had to catch it in spurts because my mom just did not want my quote unquote innocent mind to be tainted. As you can see, she didn't stop me from watching it all the way. I'll never forget watching all the craziness that happened, the ring imploding with a Big Show and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar fighting a handicap guy. Forget his
Zach Gallen.
Zach Gallen, man. How wild that match was. And I didn't have cable, so I could only watch SmackDown. So I was a SmackDown kid. I watched Boogeyman terrorizing Booker T. I watched everything of Edge face. I didn't even know he became a bad guy until I started watching Raw. And that's when my hate, I should say at the time, grew for Edge. I remember John Cena's debut match.
I'm sorry.
Not knowing how big of a deal he was going to be, but I was just like, I liked him. And I absolutely did not like Kurt Angle. Like I said, I didn't catch him like Milkamania, the guy that was over on Raw. So I caught him on SmackDown when he was a complete ass.
So you didn't see him when he had hair.
I caught wind of his head getting shaved, and that's when he became a butt. I didn't get to see him. I didn't get to watch him until going to YouTube videos, seeing how funny he was on Raw, because I didn't have cable.
He's the Euro-Continental champion.
I did not. There's stuff I went back and watched, to grow my love of respect for the business.
I can tell you the Angle Slam was first unveiled. That was against Godfather. His first victory against the Godfather, winning the European title. He hit him with the Angle. And
watched it. Godlike.
I was like,
manner of this before he started doing the Angle Slam.
You said what?
I can't even remember what he was using before he started using the Angle Slam.
What was that?
The crossface chicken wing.
Yep.
Bro.
Yep.
Because he actually had Bob Backlund in his corner until that in 2000.
I remember.
Fast forwarding to when my family finally decided to buy DirecTV so I could finally catch Raw. The first thing I'm a witness to was the reunion of D-Generation X. Didn't even know Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Like I said, I missed the Attitude Era, so I didn't even know about D-Generation X. I went back, did research. I was at my after-school program, cutting promos and doing suck it in the tennis courts because I played tennis at the time.
Getting your ass in trouble.
Yeah, certainly was. And I think what cemented me going from being a SmackDown kid to a Raw kid was Chris Jericho coming back in 2007, the second coming. Because I remember watching him on SmackDown. He was my favorite. I was a Jerichoholic, man. I didn't even know he ended up going to Raw and got fired because I didn't watch Raw at the time. So when he came back, I was elated. And then when he became a bad guy, my heart was broken. But and then ECW came around, ECW Light, I should say, because they held back versus what I actually read in the books and on YouTube and whatnot. I remember watching Kelly's expose with my cousin. Kelly. Man.
Boy, oh boy.
What a time that was.
Wasn't it?
Then ECW like started dying a quote unquote slow death, started being eaten up by Raw. I was there for a lot of Raw ruthless aggression moments, the reunion of DX, second coming of Chris Jericho, Cena becoming Super Cena before our very eyes, beating absolutely everyone. IED Randy Orton. What an era that was. Bald skinhead Randy Orton punting the hell out of every single person I cared about.
Classic.
Man.
Oh, snap. Well, looks like we finally got a wish for NXT.
What?
Nick Dijakovic.
Oh, yep, he's coming back. Dominic Dijakovic, finally. No more T-Bar.
Yeah, because that was dumb. Now, wait this.
And I'm glad you said that because there was a period I stopped watching Raw in the mid 2010s when it started to fuse with SmackDown, and then there was all the CM Punk stuff going on. I watched it, but it was like in passing. I started slowly. How ironic with CM Punk, I started watching the show less and less. That's crazy to me. Could never really watch a pay-per-view because we didn't have the money for it. And I stopped watching it altogether. Fast forward to 2017.
I think that's where we all had it. Yeah.
I didn't even watch Raw and SmackDown. The first thing I'm being told, yo, you got to watch this new product, NXT. And I'm like, the last time I heard of NXT was a talk show. What are you talking about? And I'm seeing and this is when Instagram was it was going through when Instagram had its old little filters and whatnot. This is before it became what it became. And I'm seeing different posts about, yo, you got to watch NXT, check out Prince Devitt, Samoa Joe, etc., etc. And I heard of these guys and in passing with other wrestling shows when I found out other wrestling shows besides the WWE exist. So my first return to watching wrestling was NXT, and it was for a takeover. And the match wasn't even for this title. It was Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black.
Wow.
The ring chemistry, the spots and everything. It just it started to reel me back in. Then I watched War Games, and what cemented my love, going to my very first ever live event, and it was for NXT, and I got to watch Tommaso Ciampa versus Velveteen Dream for the NXT title. I got to watch Aleister Black and the Viking Raiders versus the Undisputed Era, full-blown entrance. I got to watch Bianca Belair early in her career where she won, like the baby faces lost, and Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane. And I got to meet Matt Riddle backstage the first time.
Is that the same? Is that the same pay-per-view where Bianca went against Shayna?
No, this was a live event. This was
okay.
This was an NXT live event. This wasn't a pay-per-view. But I got to meet Matt Riddle. Stoned as shit, but he was very responsive. He was very cool. We got a picture. And I'll never forget walking by the merch booth and I saw this on sale. Of course, I didn't have the money for it then, but I always wanted a WWE belt. And I could never get it because I didn't have the money. Fast forward a few months later, I told my friends, I'm getting a belt. I'm getting a belt. And that's how this was the first. And it holds a special place in my heart because this NXT reinvigorated my love and cemented it, especially after their performance at Survivor Series, where they beat Raw and SmackDown.
I was there.
What a night that was.
Yep, I was actually at that event.
Yep. And then Chase decides to add me to this group of misfit brats called the Brotherhood of Wrestling. And I'm seeing so many hot takes on here. And I'm like, what in God's name has this man made me a part of? And fast forward to today, we have a podcast.
Yes. We
have a cast of members. And Chase is still an ass. We love him, though, for establishing the Brotherhood of Wrestling. Oh, and Mello. After I got this belt,
I still got it.
Second belt I got was the World Heavyweight Championship. But Mello did not have a belt.
I'm sorry, was I called an ass?
You're late. You're late. You're late.
But yeah.
This is other baby, y'all. That is currently my baby now. This is other baby.
I'll never forget. Sent that to Mello. He's held on to it since.
And glad this is what forever.
It's shiny.
Of course, you have to. What? You have to. It needs to be clean now.
But yeah, man. If I didn't love wrestling, this podcast probably would not be here. I probably would have left the group, and we would not be here talking about.
I wouldn't even have this.
You wouldn't have that belt,
right?
So, wrestling is awesome when it wants to be. But as long as we're all here to discuss it and talk about it with everything right and wrong and have our varying opinions. By the way, you can still work stiff while being a technician wrestler. We're all going to have a grand old time.
True indeed.
We all love wrestling. And that is why this podcast exists. This is not a promo. This is not scripted. This is a shoot. And we don't miss. So, with that being said, tune in next week where we discuss Crown Jewel and wrestling music.
Hold on. Now, I just want to drop this truth bomb. Why does women's IWGP title look better than the men's?
It does. That it does. I've seen it. I saw it. It looked nice. But that's another story for another episode. So tune in next week. We'll be discussing wrestling music. Jim Johnson, CFO, and Def Rebel. and other wrestling themes from other companies that really stood out. And seeing as though Kenny has returned, next week we will be bringing back Ring Time with Kenny 9.
Oh,
damn it, you have deprived us of wrestling matches.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Void. I had to fill that void, man.
Definitely missed that little time right there, Kenny. We definitely missed seeing it.
Even if it was just pictures.
You got
Yeah,
it.
I got you.
That's macho voice. Ooh, yeah, Kenny's coming back off the top rope. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, been the official 10th episode. By the way, merch coming soon. Cash App coming soon. We love this, but we want to get paid for this as well. And seeing as though we don't have 1,000 subscribers yet on YouTube, by the way, subscribe to our channel.
Oh, God.
See ya.